Okay, so given the intro song that they just selected for the panel, why don't we go ahead and start off with science? There were a couple of you who came up during the transition and asked me a couple questions, as well as maybe 20 cards or so on the topic. So let's go ahead and walk through that eligibility decision again for who takes the high school science courses. First, just a reminder that the board action about who takes the high school science course assessment was for students in grades 10, 11, or 12, with the idea that a score would be banked if they had already taken an assessment. Given that this will be the first year that we will implement banking, what that means is that this year, all grade 12 students assess. So, as you can imagine, as we move into the next year, it will not be all grade 12 students. It will be all grade 12 students minus those who already were tested this year. So what you don't see in the diagram in the flow chart, which, by the way, we are finalizing and getting tagged for accessibility, so that should be posted next week. What you don't see is subtracting out those students because this is year one of banking. So I hope that clarifies that a little bit about who takes the science course. Another thing to remember about our science tests is that it assesses all the performance expectations for high school. All the performance expectations, and no one has sharp objects in here, right? All the performance expectations in high school normally take 3 years, 3 courses to get through. The state requirement for high school is 2 courses. Don't we love that? But I will say that we also took a look at CalPADS data. We heard from many people that they did not think grade 12 students were taking high school courses. That was absolutely incorrect when we looked at the data. Over 90% of our grade 12 students in California are enrolled in a science course. Therefore, we would suggest that you wait until a student is done taking their science courses to make a decision about when they test. So I hope that clarifies a little bit about eligibility. There was also, I need to clarify how that information is used. So I guess I should apologize to poor Mal because she is the new one and I did put her on the stage for 3 different times, actually 4 now. So just a little clarification about the term that was used when we talked about accountability, when we talked about the science course. The science test is currently not in the dashboard. The science test you give this year is not in the dashboard. So what Mao was discussing is actually a requirement that we, the state, have for reporting information to the U.S. Department of Education. So not in the dashboard right now. So I hope that relieves a little bit of the concerns that we saw in the yellow cards. I have other questions. One has to do with when they will be able to download all the test scores from CalPADS. Of course, it is the department's priority to load our assessment results into CalPADS. It does take some time for us to do that work, so we suggest that you utilize the resources that you have available via the ETS contracts that we have to get access to your test scores while we continue to load that data. There was another, I answered that one. There was another question about adaptive tests. Will CAASPP be adaptive? So our CAASPP is an umbrella term and refers to several assessments. Some of the assessments in our CAASPP system are adaptive at the item level, and some of them will be adaptive in what's called staged adaptive, or in other words, chunks of items, not item by item. So it varies depending on the assessment. For example, our Spanish assessment is not adaptive. The new science assessments we build eventually will become staged adaptive, and of course our smarter balanced assessments are item by item adaptive. Mal, do you want to take a few?
Yes, I have a few questions here about when will the results be publicly available on the CDE's CAASPP website. They are already available. If you're the CAASPP coordinator and you don't have that information yet, they're already publicly released yesterday, and you've had a couple opportunities to view your own data. So please go to the website, on CDE's website, and they're already there. Again, where are our aggregate data reports located, and when will we receive results for LEA and board reporting? Are we supposed to rely on the dashboard for that? For now, no. The aggregate data is available, and you've had them available in ORS for a good number of months now. So we hope that you are utilizing that system as well. I had a couple questions about the word prediction accommodation. Can I get more information? What students would this be appropriate for? How would we provide this logistically? In the UAAG, the Usability, Accessibility, Accommodations Guidelines, I may have butchered that name, I apologize. It does provide more information. And it's really for students with documented motor or orthopedic impairments. Or also with students with moderate to severe learning disabilities. Okay, and word prediction is derived through a non-embedded software. So this accommodation requires that permissive mode to allow the use of this non-embedded software. So please look in the guidelines documentation to assist you, and you could always call for support as well if you are trying to use this new support.
Is it on? Oh, I guess so. Okay, so we had a question about the CAASPP window for testing, and since it's part of the CAASPP system, it's 25 instructional days is the minimum number of days in which you could have your testing window open for all your CAASPP tests. We are, let's see, good question about how we're going to track students going from one LEA to another LEA when we're banking the science results. And so we are currently exploring our options and how we're going to do that. And so we'll get back to you as soon as we have that ironed out. But it is something that we will be either providing through report, through ORS, or some mechanism in which, as a student transfers into your high school and they've already taken the science test, it would show up that they are not eligible to take the test again. And then another question about whether students, they take it in grade 10 and can they take it again as a senior, and it's basically one and done. You take the science assessment either in grades 10, 11, or 12. That is your opportunity. You only get one opportunity.
Okay, so almost all of the questions that I received are in regards to the interim assessment reporting system, but two are not, so I'm going to take those two first. The first one is about the digital library. It sounds like there is a coordinator who has teachers who have tried to use the self-registration interface, and they haven't received the automatic email that's to be generated after entering their contact information. They're wanting to know if they can manage their own users. So two important points here. First, I should put in a plug for the digital library self-registration quick reference guide that's available on the CAASPP portal. It specifies the email domain that automatically generated email will come from. So if you have any, possibly if your system is blocking spam, they can set that so that it can be accepted. So that might be the situation. Even after the self-registration interface was made available, CAASPP coordinators continue to be able to maintain and register educators from within their district. So that capability is still there, and we still strongly encourage LEA CAASPP coordinators to regularly maintain the list of staff with access to the digital library. Digital library roles are not removed at the end of each school year, so it really is important that the digital library access be maintained by the CAASPP coordinator. Have a question here about the interim assessment viewing system. That's that preview site that LEA staff can use to check out the interims just as students see them. And the question is whether the viewing system indicates which items allow a calculator to be used by the student. And the answer is yes, but you will not see that until you get to that particular item within the interim assessment. It will allow the calculator to be used when you get to that point. Okay, so now for some reporting system questions. Thanks for this question, Dan, because it reminded me, I forgot to mention, a new resource coming soon. And the question is about whether there will be a demo video available for the new reporting system features, and the answer is yes. It is actually under development right now by Smarter Balanced, and we will post that to the CAASPP portal website once it's available, and we'll be sure to mention that in one of our CAASPP weekly updates. I also wanted to mention that Smarter Balanced has developed a similar demo video for the digital library and the new search feature and the navigation capability, and we'll be posting that to the CAASPP portal webpage as well. So be on the lookout for that and those notifications within the weekly update. Although this question specifically asks if there will be a 5-minute video. I can't guarantee that the interim assessment video will be 5 minutes or less, but the digital library video is about a 4-minute video. Question here about students in high school taking the interim assessments and whether the results for all students within high school who take the interims, whether those will appear in the reporting system. Any student K through 12 who takes the interim assessments will have their results display in the reporting system. Question about whether item analysis information is available for the items in both the blocks and the comprehensives, the IABs and the ICAs, and the answer is yes. Any items that are taken in the interim assessment system will produce results in the reporting system, as long as the proper hand scoring is completed. A request to restate where the individual student item responses can be accessed within the reporting system. Once you get to the page within the reporting system that displays the student list, there's an icon to the left with 3 dots. You click on that, it pulls up a little pop-up box that gives you the option to view the student's responses to the item. Shall I keep going or pass it back? I have a few more, but it looks like you have some more. Yeah, let's go ahead and pass it back to Michelle.
Okay. One of the questions has to do with whether or not, when scores are calculated for Smarter Balanced, whether or not the system takes into consideration the amount of time it takes for a student to respond. The answer is no. The system does not take into consideration the amount of time it takes a student to answer. There are other questions about how the scores are calculated for Smarter Balanced. We need to remember that this is an item adaptive test, so it uses what is referred to as pattern scoring, takes into consideration what is referred to as IRT parameters. It is not an easy answer. There is no set, for example, percentage of items that come from certain areas, but there are parameters around that, and you can get the information on the parameters around that by looking at the specifications document. I believe we might also have a PowerPoint deck that describes item pattern scoring, and we can look at providing that as a resource on our website. I have another question, which wants the test to be shorter. I'm sure many of you want the test to be shorter in terms of administration time. Please note that we do always look at ways of making adjustments, and we are considering some adjustments for the future, not this year. But we have to take into consideration the need to meet technical standards for our assessments given the purpose of what they're used for. But do know that we do engage in those conversations. We are looking at a couple options that we might implement in the next coming years, and we'll notify all of you if we're able to take advantage of that. I do have another question about our high school students and having high school students that may be older than your average high school student. Please note that there is no exception for grade in terms of administration of our CAASPP assessments. Our CAASPP assessments are required by state law as well as federal law. The requirement and eligibility is set at grade level. You all have your own local determinations about how you establish what grade a student is enrolled in. But note that if a student is older than you would anticipate them to be in grade 12 is not a reason for them not to participate in the science test. Same answer for our grade 11 students. So I think that was probably a very specific question to a few charter schools that may be here today. I think that's all of mine.
Okay, I'll just go through these three correctly. For the electronic reporting, are you suggesting that we download SSRs, print them out, and mail them home, or we email to families? At this time, we are providing the paper reports to you, but you have had the option of the SSRs in PDFs electronically in ORs. So what will that be up to districts to decide? Currently, it is, we are still providing the paper, but we're just doing a pilot with a few districts on the paperless reporting. So that pilot will inform some future decisions. And at this time, you still get the paper report, you still get the electronic reports in ORs. There's a question about, is there any news about test settings selected in SACE transfer over to TOMS? I believe SACE is really your own IEP system. So for that, you currently have that option right now. In fact, when I was at a district last year, we did import the test settings from SACE into the TOMS system, and that really alleviated a lot of people have to hand enter the test settings into TOMS. So you have that option right now.
So, and I think they're referring to the transition of when that information will go into CalPADS is probably what they meant, even though that's not the question,
Yeah.
and that transition is scheduled for 2019-20.
Yes. So if we didn't answer your question, you could approach us again later. Has any consideration been given to making the text-to-speech accommodation less robotic? Perhaps recording a real person's voice would be beneficial. We don't have an answer at this time, but we could explore some options with our vendors. Okay, and I have one last one. Will the new CAASPP coordinator trainings be available in a live webinar format? I believe they're all in person this year. I don't believe there's the webinar format for the new CAASPP coordinators. That's why we have a long waiting list. So please come and attend if you can.
Okay, we're going to switch to the alternate assessment. And question is, when will the 1% survey be open for the 17-18 school year? We've announced that the deadline is October 11th. However, we're still finalizing the survey, so we will be extending the deadline as soon as we get it up, and we'll let you know when the deadline is.
So Linda, to just expand on that a little bit, the survey will be modified. You will be given only 2 options on the survey in the future, and both of those options are valid reasons for going above the 1%. So you won't have options that that may be questionable to choose from. So, for example, one of the options will be referencing the fact that you are maybe you have a small population, therefore the percentage may not be a very good indicator for you. The other option may be that you have a special program, but please note the wording that will be associated with that. The wording will be associated that you have a special program specific to students with the most significant cognitive disabilities. And so we did see some responses in the first survey that were a little concerning. So we are taking the time to modify that survey to ensure that you understand the options are important to note. The wording is associated with the two reasons why we think you may be exceeding the 1%.
Another question is, what is the criteria for students that are going to be taking the CalAlt? And it's students that have the most significant cognitive disability, and it must state in the student's IEP, it designates an alternate assessment. And then how do we enroll them for the test? The default in TOMS when they're enrolled is Smarter Balance Assessment and CAST. For alternate assessments, you can do one of two things. You can go in one-on-one, one-to-one, and assign the student to an alternate assessment, or you can upload a file that will then indicate that that student is going to be assigned an alternate assessment.
Okay, just a few more questions regarding the interims and then one more about the digital library. A few questions were received asking whether it is possible to download any of the information from the new reporting system into a CSV or Excel file, and the answer is yes. Most of the information that you see in the reporting system can be downloaded. One thing that cannot be downloaded at this point are student responses to test items, but that is one of the enhancements that's being explored for down the road. So I believe in the system there is a button that says download CSV for any of the information that can be downloaded. A couple of questions about the assignment of the new user roles, and should clarify that with the capability to create student groups for the new reporting system, it is necessary now to first establish the roles within the administration and registration tools interface, the ART interface, just like you did last year. But there is that new user role, it's called PII group, that should be assigned to any staff that you'd like to create one of these student groups for. That's the first step. The next step is to go into the reporting system itself and create those student groups. So you're interacting with two systems in order to use the grouping feature. And also one thing that I'll mention, again, this is in the September 11th email to CAASPP coordinators, but there is also a new user role that should be assigned specifically to staff that you would like to also have the capability to create student groups. It's called the group admin role, and there's more information about that in that September 11th email. And one more question, is there any evidence that using the digital library playlists and material in the digital library is having a direct effect on student learning? So the department hasn't conducted a formal research study on this, but I can point you to the videos on the digital library storefront that provide videos of educators talking about their experience using the digital library. I can direct you to the Formative Assessment in Action video series that the department released, I think it was just last year, that shows teachers in their classrooms using resources from the digital library with their students. And I think it speaks volumes about the positive impact that the formative assessment resources in the digital library can have working with students. And Michelle, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
The only thing that I would add is that this really is probably something that is a study that would be more useful to be done locally. just because how those are implemented is not standardized across the state. So you might want to look at evaluations that you would consider taking into context how you have implemented the digital library or how you might be implementing the interim assessments. I think that might be more powerful in terms of their impact. So I don't have a yellow card on this, but I'm sure that you meant to write a question on this topic. I have to do another plug for the CAASPP academies. And I'm doing this knowing that they will completely fill up, and I'm not kidding about that. Our professional development really does reach capacity very quickly. But I want to make sure that you really go back and talk to those science teachers, your lead teachers, and encourage participation in these academies. Those of you that have looked at those performance expectation and standards understand when I say this is very complex and very different than anything you've ever looked at. And I believe that the training that we're doing that does talk about the test and is specific about the CAASPP assessment also has information that will assist all of you and your teachers in rolling out and implementing the NGSS. We will specifically talk about the DCIs, the SEPs, the cross-cutting concepts, how those are in those performance expectations, and how you might consider breaking those apart into assessment targets. But if you can imagine breaking those apart into assessment targets might also directly translate or have a parallel to what those conversations your teachers might be having locally about how do we break apart these PEs, these performance expectations, in our curriculum. So I think there's some great parallels, and I encourage all of you to sign up for those trainings. So Tony Alpert, I believe you had a question you were going to answer. I took all the other difficult ones that I was going to give to you, but since you weren't in the room, I took them, which is not kind. I didn't have the card.
You don't have the card?
I thought you took it with you.
So, gentleman asked, can you please talk about the lack of growth in scores between years 2 and 3 in California and across the consortium? What can explain California's grade 5 ELA standard met or exceeded going down 2.5 percentage points? So I could just shrug, but I won't do that. I think there's a lot of things going on. There was a significant amount of growth that occurred early in the consortium, or among states in the consortium. I think there's probably something about attending to the low-hanging fruit, if you will, regarding instruction. Things that were in math, for instance, or ELA, that were pretty similar to the previous standards and that was more familiar to teachers, and so they were able to adapt their lessons and adapt their instruction, and they attended to those quickly, especially based on some early information from the first year. And now I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done. In math, similar issue probably around content that was moved from one grade to another, but otherwise stayed essentially the same, versus new content, and helping to ensure that teachers have all the support and resources that they need to be able to help their students, and trying out new things and figuring out what works and adapt accordingly. So we don't believe we have no reason to believe at this point that there's anything wrong with the assessment. In fact, assessment people get more nervous when there's large increases, as contrast to when things are flat, because it indicates that the system is pretty stable. You can imagine that if there's large increases, people start making assertions about perhaps the people are teaching to the test or there's cheating going on. So from a technical standpoint, having a stable assessment system upon which you can make really solid decisions is something that we're proud of, and it's something that you should be proud of. So we have every reason to believe that you can rely on the data. We're going to perform our due diligence. We do not get the assessment data directly from vendors. States have to make the choice to send their data to us. California, fortunately, opts to do that on a regular basis as part of our agreement and their membership of the consortium. And so we've just received that data. It takes, as you know, a long time to make sure it's clean and send it to the consortium. So we'll be reviewing all the states that send their data to us in detail, producing our technical reports, and we'll complete our due diligence. But at this point, we have every reason to believe that you can rely on those data. Now, specifically related to the 5th grade question, if you look at the mean scale scores from 2017 for that grade, it was 2,489.5. And in 2016, it was 2,495.5. So that's a difference of about 6 scale score points. The standard deviation for Smarter Balance is somewhere between 80 and 100 scale score points. So it was essentially the same performance. Now, that doesn't mean that there was a decline. A lack of progress is still sustained progress over the previous year. So students are demonstrating more knowledge regarding the Common Core California state assessments than what they did in the year 1. But more work is needed, and I know that's not a surprise to the people in the room. We're doing everything we can to help. We think the new reporting system for the interim assessments will help. We're confident that the additional connections documents that we're working to develop in partnership with California and the other states will help. Those are all geared towards providing your teachers with resources to be able to improve their instruction so that they can help their students learn more. And if there are additional ways that we can do that, please let us know.
So that was very nice. Now I'm going to say my part. So I think many of you are asking the question, or many people are coming to you asking the question about the test scores that were released this year, and having concerns. And I would ask that you take a deep breath when that question comes to you, and you think about how did they ask that question last year? When we released those results last year and we saw gains, were they questioning the assessment then? They were not. So that does seem to be a paradox that I would ask you to think about when you're getting that question. The other thing I was just handed here that I want to make sure I announce, since I've said numerous times how quickly our professional development events do fill up, is that our county offices are trying to assist us. Many of them attend our trainings, and then they deliver the same type of training locally. And if some of you are doing that, if you inform our partners, Sacramento County Office of Education, they will announce your event on the website so that individuals understand that even if they couldn't get in our event, there are local offerings of similar trainings. Okay, no more questions? Okay, thank you.